Hey guys, how are you? It's Nina Perez, and this is Straight Talk. I have so many platforms now, I don't even, I don't even know which one to start with. But I did want to come on here to do a little bit of straight talk with you guys. I was talking to a client, right? Somebody who's going to be coming on board, and I wanted to talk about reframing your brain, like literally reframing your brain, because we have so much stuff that we are stuck on in life. We are so stuck. And like so many people are going through so many really like serious things. And I don't know if it's all of these lockdowns that people are going through, or the COVID, or division of people. So many negative things are happening, but negative things are always happening, right? So we have to start reframing our brain, because we are becoming completely like sucked into this world where we are really struggling with our negative thoughts. And, a lot of times, or at least this is what I am finding with the people that I am coaching through this, is that their negative thoughts are like paralyzing them. Like they are really in this. When I say stuck, I mean stuck, right? And they're stuck in these pattern of behaviors and stuck in this time. And they're really having an extremely hard time getting out of these patterns. And people are really going through. And so when people are going through to the point where, like they are stuck, man. I was like, wow, this is going to take some time, It's funny, right? Because you'll get different people with different types of mindsets when it comes to things that they're going through. And so what I'm trying to do is help people reframe their brain, reframe literally their brain, just reframing the neural networks that are happening in your brain, and how we can get you to get unstuck. Because let's face it, we all go through things where we get stuck, right? We get stuck in one, whether it's career or life, friendships, relationships, jobs, whatever it is, that we can get stuck. And sometimes in this place that can swallow you up, and then you get completely like, I don't even know how to compare it to, maybe somebody who's a quadriplegic, right? That they have a mind and they want to do things, but their body won't allow them. It's like that, right? It's like knowing that you have a mind and you can't seem to get out of it, right? So you're like a prisoner. And so you get stuck in these patterns and these behaviors, and it's super difficult in your mind to get out of it. But let's play around with that a little bit, right? Because it's all relative, really. It's all perspective. So when you're stuck and your brain feels stuck and it's difficult and you can't seem to get out of this pattern of behavior, and it's difficult, when they say to me it's difficult, I'm like, difficult compared to what? Difficult compared to, right? Because what happens is in our brain, sometimes we get overwhelmed with stuff going on in our life, and then we think our stuff is like the biggest stuff happening in the world. But honestly, there's stuff happening in the world that is way bigger than what we're stuck with sometimes, right? And so what happens is I try to dig a little deeper, like, so in comparison to what, how is your life this, right? So if you're under the impression that being depressed, being sad, being anxious, being fearful, being frustrated is the state of mind that you constantly or continually have to be in, then you're wrong, because you don't, right? It doesn't have to be this way all the time, where you're always struggling with depression, always struggling with anxiety, always struggling with fearfulness, always struggling with frustration, always struggling with loneliness or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. What you need is a way to get through the pattern so that you can break the back of that and move forward, right? And so, but a lot of times our brain and the way we are built, right? Because our brain is built to protect us. So our brain gets in the way, and then we don't know how to get through it, right? So you're not a depressed person. You're in a state of depression, right? It's something you are going through. And it's just, I used to suffer from depression. This is why I picked that one, because I used to be in depression for a while, or in the state of depression, thinking that that's where I had to be. Yes, I still worked. Yes, I still took care of my kids. Yes, I still had a social life, but I was going through a depression. And when I was going through that depression, it was super hard to get out of, because my life was so shit. Shit compared to what? Right? And this is why I love that I'm doing all of this NLP work, and I love that I'm getting my master's in it, and I love that I'm doing all of this work, because there is a way to get out of this. And I don't want to see people stuck in this shit no more. Stuck in our routine, in our mind, and stuck in and don't know how to really get out of it. I want people out, right? So because I've been able to get out of that state, I want people to get out of that state. And that's what I'm helping people with, because that is such a joy to me, to see a person come to me completely stuck, can't move, whether it's in their career, their life, their relationships, whatever. And we start to reframe their brain and then fix that so they can now move forward. And I give them the tools to continually move forward so they don't stay where they are. And a lot of times we are just there and we don't know what to do. Like some of these people I'm speaking to, like they don't know what to do. Like they are literally stuck. It is like, oh man, it's so, my heart goes out to them, because I just want to pull them up and down and say, you are freaking worth it. You're worthy. You got this. Right? But unless we start to flip that brain, it's going to be very difficult, because the human brain, naturally, your human brain will delete what it doesn't like, or delete all the stuff around it. Then it will generalize it, right? And then it distorts it. So it'll distort it, it generalizes it, it deletes it, because your brain is trying to hurry up and save time and energy. It has to hurry up. It ain't got time. It's like when you walk in a room and you look at the room, you scan, room feels safe, boom, off you go to enjoy the party, right? It took you 2 seconds to do that. You don't know if that room is really safe. You don't know what that room is really about. You just know that you quickly generalize, distort it, delete it, and done, right? This is what our brain does. It's supposed to. That's what it does to protect us, right? But what happens when you get stuck? What happens when you are generalizing your life so much that now you're like, nobody cares about me. Nobody likes me. My life is shit. I don't have anything. Nobody cares if I'm alive or dead. Like I'm this and these big statements that generalize, who you are in your mindset, in your career, in your entrepreneurship, and all of that stuff, your relationships. And what happens is that you get to the process where now you are like really in this crossroads of your life, right? So the first thing you got to do to change the way you think and to reframe this bad boy is be committed to reframe it. You have to actually be committed to say you are going to try something different than you've tried. That's what's going to get you unstuck to begin with, right? Because if you're stuck and you really don't know how to move forward and things are coming at you like, oh, it's coming at you, and you don't know how to move forward, that really can get you stuck if you don't start to commit to a process of letting yourself try different things. You're going to have to try different techniques. You're going to have to try different ways of thinking. You're going to have to try, maybe somebody to help you along, whatever it is, or teaching yourself, whatever. But you have to do something to get this bad boy to move. Staying stuck, it shouldn't be an option. It is. It is. I'm generalizing when I say it shouldn't be, because honestly, it could be an option for you. Maybe you want to stay stuck. That could be. I personally don't like that for myself, and I don't like to see people there either, because I know that everyone is built. I believe everyone is built with a purpose. And so when we are in this place of, that we're stuck and not moving forward, our purpose is leaving, it's dwindling, and it's moving away. And so our purpose is not being fulfilled. I do believe that. I do believe that we do have a purpose. I believe we have a purpose. Now we can decide to go to a different purpose. We could decide to do other things. But I believe that we should actually, if we are in a place where we're not moving forward, then let's figure it out. Let's find a way to get you unstuck. It doesn't have to be with me. I'm just saying, I'm generalizing, right? That in order for you to move forward, you're going to have to try different things. And you can't stay in the same old shit and expecting a different result. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard that before. So you're going to have to start to reframing this bad boy. And the way you do that is you first you commit, right? You have to commit that you're going to try something new. The second thing you're going to do is identify that negative feeling. What is that feeling anyway? And is it helping you? Is it serving you to feel that way? Right? So once you identify, you need to really investigate, why am I feeling fearful, angry, frustrated, lonely, whatever the frustration is, depressed, anxious, all those things, right? Investigate what makes that negative feeling come up. I was talking to one of my clients, and she says, my life is shit. She says she's in a horrible relationship. This person is abusive, verbally, not physically. And they're really going through a lot of stuff, right? And their job is shit, and everything is shit. Everything is shit, right? So my life is shit, she says. I said, okay, so your life is shit. Now let's look at what you're talking about, because your life is shit is a huge generalization. Is all of your life shit? So when you go talking to me right now is shit? No. Oh, okay. So that's part of your life. I mean, is doing this shit? No. Is being with your kids shit? No. Is being with your grandkids shit? No. Well, then your whole life isn't shit. You see what I'm saying? We generalize, and then that makes it like a bigger burden that we're carrying. So then I look into that with them, and I say, okay, give me 1 or 2 reasons why that negative feeling is there, and how can we find a way to look at this as a positive. So give me 1 or 2 positive things as to why you feel your life is shit. And she's like, what the F are you talking about? Right? Look at the evidence of your life. Is what you're saying true? Is your life really shit? And if it is, compared to what? To somebody being human trafficked? To somebody being murdered? To somebody, being blown up somewhere? Your life is shit compared to what? Right? Because when you start to put your life in perspective, and you start to like flip the way you think and flip your mind, whether it's anxiety, worry, depression, whatever it is, you start to try to fix it and flip it, right? Reframe the way you think so that you don't have to stay stuck in that madness of constantly going back and forth. And by madness, I mean like a repetitive thing that just keeps coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. So her statement was, my life is shit. That's a very generalized statement. My life is shit. What is that? Compared to who? Compared to what? What are you talking about? Right? But then when we started to break it down, and that was just in one session, she was like, holy crap. I was like, yeah, you said your life was shit. Now it's holy crap. Right? Which we laughed. But the whole thing is that she doesn't realize that saying my life is shit is just a way of her generalizing. And then it's going to make her look at everything like it's shit. Right? But truth be told, there is some positive reasons why she feels that way. Right? Why does she feel like her life is shit? Obviously, because she wants to get to a better place. There's a positive. She doesn't want her life to be shit. She wants her life to be better. There's the positive. Okay? So, you always have to like regeneralize what you're doing. You have to look at an alternative. Look at an alternative as to what you're, feeling right now. Right? Look at yourself and respond differently. You must be committed so that your subconscious won't sabotage you. How many times are you going to go on a diet? Okay. Let's talk about Nita Perez here. All right. Your subconscious will come and try to sabotage you because it's used to a pattern. But you have to try to start reframing your brain so you don't have to keep getting stuck in that shit. Like she said, I'm stuck in that shit. You know what I'm saying? If you start to rationalize and start making excuses as to why you should move forward, stop. Pause. Let's go back and let's figure out again why you let's get that 1 or 2 positive reasons as to why this happened. So, for me, like I'll use me as an example. So for me, when I was in a really battered I was battered. I was really battered almost to my death, right? Okay. What was the positive in that? Like, how could you even look at that as positive, right? But when you start to look at it as positive, you start to realize there was self-preservation in me. I learned to fight back. I learned to protect myself. And why did I protect myself? Because I thought I was worthy enough to protect. See what I'm saying? Like, once you start to break down all those negative thoughts and find a positive in the negative, you can start to flip the way your brain thinks, and you don't have to stay stuck there. I thought I was stuck. I tried to commit suicide in that relationship because I'm like, my life is shit. I can't live. I can't breathe. I can't. But then I realized, well, now I realize, right, that I was preserving myself because I knew I was worth something, even though I was broken. Right? So even in your midst of you being broken, if you're going through that, it's because you're trying to preserve and protect yourself because you are freaking worth it. And even if you don't feel like you're freaking worth it, you are. And therefore, you will try to do what you can to preserve that. Right? So when you start to make, oh, but it's this and oh, but make those excuses, go right back to finding out what your positive reasoning is. I know that sometimes negative shit does not feel like it's going to have a positive anything to it, anything. But it does. It depends on your reframing. You have to reframe your brain in order to keep moving forward. Otherwise, you are going to be going through that same loop over and over again. Right? So don't rationalize. Don't make any excuses for yourself as you start to change. Don't do that. Be committed. Be committed to yourself. Don't make it a non-negotiable that you will do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 to get the F out of that state. Whatever that state is, whether it's anger, depression, frustration, etc., 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 because there's a lot of states of emotion, right? But you always have to keep in mind that feelings, emotions, and states, they change. They always change. You go from happy to sad to mad to glad to whatever, right? It happens because it's a state and it's a emotion that come out. So that means that if it changes, that means you can break. You can break away from all of it. You can break away from its triggers. You can break away from negative emotions. You can change your freaking perspective. Why? Because your emotions and feelings can freaking change. And once you have that in your mind, oh, my feelings and emotions can change. That means I don't have to stay stuck in this shit. Exactly. No, you don't. And so this person that's in this relationship that she doesn't like and the abuse in this relationship, it's a verbal abuse thing, right? Which is still abuse. She says, my whole life is shit, right? Her whole life is not shit. There's segments of her life that are not going well. Why are they not going well? Why? Because she's preserving herself and knows she's freaking worth it. We might not want to think that up close, but truth be told, that's what it is. And so you have to start taking these little pieces of your life where you feel like there are no good, where you feel like it is just, you cannot move forward. If you don't like, let's use your job. If you don't like your career, you don't like your job, you don't like what you're doing, but you feel stuck there, you're not stuck. What is it that this job is providing that's good? Maybe it's providing a good income. Okay, that's a positive. Maybe you like your coworkers. Great, that's a positive. Maybe the location is great. Great. Those are all positives in the middle of what you call a shit situation. But that doesn't mean you have to stay there. But it does change your perspective. So when you go to work the next day, it's a little bit better. And then the next day, it's a little bit better. And then the next day, it's a little bit better. Right? And once your attitude starts to change and you start to have gratitude for what you have, I'm telling you, everything starts to shift and you just start to see opportunities around you. You start to see, all of these advancements. Your brain just starts to open up. You start to become a little bit more creative. Why? It's not bogged down with a lot of garbage. You're not sitting there just stuck, right? And so, yeah, it's a process. Yes, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to get up and be like, whoop, okay, I'm done. Process is over. That's not what's going to happen. But what can happen is that you can change the way you think so you could start moving forward and not get stuck. Your life is not shit. My life is not shit. My client's life is not shit. But we generalize a lot. And when we generalize, this is what we do to protect our brain, to protect ourselves, right? Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about, absolutely nobody cares about you. And then all of a sudden they can figure out 5 or 6 people that could care about them. Okay. Why? Reframing of the brain. That's all that is. It's just taking crap that we think about, crap that we always look at and just try to make it all about us, right? Or all on us, when a lot of it is just a matter of what is the positive of that intention. What is the positive of that intention? And even when something is evil, like my son's father trying to kill me in that relationship, right? When I start to pull out what could have been positive is that I know he loved me so much that he couldn't stand himself. He couldn't stand the thought of me being with anyone else. So he tried to kill me, right? And is that a positive that he tried to kill me? No. What I'm saying is that even though in the evil or in the wrong, his intention was a good one for him, not for me, for him. Right? So what I'm trying to say is even in the darkness and even in the midst and even in the ugly and even in the yuck, you can find a positive intention, whether it's self-preservation or whatever it is. I tried to preserve myself, right? I tried to preserve myself. I didn't like being called names. I didn't like it. I didn't like being punched and I didn't like being abused. Why didn't I like it? Because I loved myself, even though I didn't know I loved myself. I tried to preserve myself. And now when I see that, I realize that was the positive intention, is that I wanted to preserve myself. And when you start to do that, then you can actually say to yourself, okay, now what do I do to start moving forward, right? And that's when you look at your responses. My response was I needed to flee from that relationship before it killed me, right? Because it almost did. And I have to be committed to that alternative response. I have to be committed to that alternative response. So I had to flee. I had to leave to save my life. Right? I had to be committed. I couldn't go back again. And you have to be committed, guys. If you want to break away from all of those triggers and all of those negative emotions and all those perspectives and all those things that are hurting you, you have to be committed to change. And that's only one that can do that is you. But you can find people to help you with it, but you have to make the commitment. Nobody can make that commitment but you. You have to be committed enough to you. There's a reason why you self-sabotage. Why do you self-sabotage? There's a reason for that. And I bet you can find a positive intention. It's self-preservation. I self-sabotage because it's uncomfortable for me to XYZ. It's uncomfortable for me to exercise. It's uncomfortable for me to, eat healthy. It's uncomfortable. So your body's trying to preserve and protect you. That is the positive intention. Right? I know it's a little bit like, what? Yes, that's what it is. Reframe your brain. Don't allow it to keep, I guess I'm a little bit like anxious for you to understand what I'm saying, because I want you to move forward in life, because life is so freaking short. I just turned 49 years old and I realized I just turned around and I'm 49. 49 is not old. I'm just saying like that, gone. 49 years. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to keep doing this shit of not living the best me for the next 20, 30, 40 years, maybe one day, because I'm only promised a moment at a time, right? But who wants to keep living, not living in fear, anxiety, worry, depression, right? I'm telling you, you have to really know how to move forward and not be stuck, because your life like that. I could remember when I was 13. I could remember when I was 14, and I'm 40 freaking 9. How did that happen? Hey, Nina. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you always think of life, you know what I'm saying, as a fleeing moment, because it's going to flee. So what are you going to do to grab onto it and make it like the best thing? Reframe your brain. Start moving forward. Do not let this come back at you. You have to start taking what is negative, what is holding you down, what is making you stuck. Okay? Look at that thing and say, what is that? Why is that happening? What is that thought? Okay, and why am I thinking that? What is the positive? I don't want you to look at the negative. I want you to look at only the positive intention for that thought. Hey there, Nina. All right. So I want you to make sure that you do that. Start thinking about something positive that's out of that, whatever it is. Oh, I'm so stuck in my life. My life is shit. No, your life is not shit. And you think your life is shit because you love yourself enough to know that you are not living your best self, your best moments. You're not having the best times in your relationship, the best times at your job. You know that because you love yourself enough to know that. That is the positive. Okay, because once you start to add negative to negative, you just get a pile of negative. That's not going to support you in any way. But what I want to do is make sure that you are supported in your thinking. I want to make sure that your stinking thinking is done, and that it's only about what you are going to do to reframe this guy in here, in between these, in between the two ears. Reframe that so that you can move forward and get rid of being stuck. And that's in every situation. All right. I only know because Lord knows I have been stuck for the last like maybe month or so. And then I was like, okay, it's time to reframe. It's time to reframe. Why are you stuck? What are you afraid of? What are you doing? I ask myself very poignant questions, but I'm also a very committed woman. I know that I'm committed to change, even if I'm uncomfortable. Why am I uncomfortable? Uncomfortable compared to what, right? We can't go down a whole rabbit hole, but you guys get it. If you got any comment, any questions about this, anything you want to know more of, let me know. I'm going to be offering soon a mastermind on mind flow acceleration, just kind of like helping people accelerate their mind. I'm going to do a full course, but I'm going to give away like the first week or so free so you guys can see what it's about. And I hope you guys will join me in that because I am working really, really hard to make sure that I break people's chains. I need to break people's chains and help them break the chains in their life and set freaking people free, including myself. Okay, because I'm done being a prisoner of my own mind, and the mind that now creates the circumstances because my mind was limited. I'm sick of limiting beliefs. I'm sick of imposter syndrome. I'm sick of being stuck. I'm tired of it. So why am I tired of it? I'm tired of it because it is time to move forward, and you can't move forward with exhaustion and fatigue. We need to be refreshed. And the way we do that is to take our mind and reframe it so that we can freaking move forward. Thank you so much, Nina. Nina says life coaching is an awesome and a great way to help everyone. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you, Nina. That's true. And, you know, I'm doing more than just life coaching. I'm actually doing neuro-linguistic programming. So I'm literally diving a little deeper than life coaching, where I'm taking our brain and the way we talk to ourselves, the linguistical part of our brain, and the way we speak, and flipping that and changing people's minds, perspectives, the way they view life. It's absolutely fascinating what the brain does. And it's absolutely fascinating how you can get the keys to unlock all of these things in your brain. It's freaking awesome. And I'm so happy I did it. And I'm happy I'm doing it. And I'm happy that people's lives are changing right before my eyes as I'm talking to them. And I just like absolutely love what I'm doing. So thank you for that encouragement. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure that you start to reframe your brain. And if you have any questions about this or want some more information, go ahead and DM me at, you know, you can at any of the platforms, really. Just go ahead and DM me and let me know how I can serve you. Okay. And also, if you like this, please like it and share. And don't forget about my podcast. Go on there as well. I'm trying to grow my platform because the more I grow my platform, the more people I can connect with to help break those chains. Thank you so much, Nina. Good night to you as well. Good night, guys. I love you. This is Nina Perez at Straight Talk, just straight talking to you. Have a good one.